Hey everybody, I'm DBSTCG Central. Welcome to another deck profile video. If you guys saw the thumbnail, you guys saw that we're doing Broly, the Awakened Demon. So this is a really strong deck. It's been running amok in the meta for a while now. It's kind of a rogue choice at the moment. It's rushy and it can take cards out of your opponent's hands and it can deny them a lot of cards. It's got a built-in inherent engine that comes with the deck, and it's takes up a lot of space, so it's hard to fit a lot of tech into the deck. But it definitely can take a little bit of tech from a different areas, and this thing becomes pretty strong if you can pimp it out. So I'll show you exactly what it does. On the unawakened side, he's Broly. So activate main once per turn. You can add up to add one card from your life to your hand, and then this card gains critical for the turn. So really strong. He's attacking, and when he hits your opponent, the life that is taken will go right into the drop area rather than giving him hand advantage. So that's always good. Critical strong. Active main. He's got another one here. Add up to one red extra card with an energy cost of 1 from your deck to your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And then you gotta negate this skill for the rest of the game. So this is just to get our engine started that we run in this deck. It also, if we have the card that we need already in our hand, then we can grab a different extra card. I can show you some other options that we have to grab, just, so we don't waste the ability. He awakens at 4 life. So when he awakens, first of all, he's great because he self-awakens himself too. So you don't have to worry about it too much. Plus, the card I'll show you that's coming up next will help self-awaken you also. So you're always going to get there. So Broly, the Awakened Demon. So he's got a permanent. If you have a Broly BR card in play, this card gains critical. So if you just have a Broly card out, it'll have critical, which is great. And when this card attacks, draw 1 card, and then this card gets plus 5,000 power for the battle. So it turns into 20k critical. Really strong. And then you can, it's got another auto here. You could choose 1 card in your hand and you can discard it. And if a Broly BR card in your battle area gets KO'd or removed by an opponent's skill, you can play another Broly BR that's energy cost 4 or less from your hand. So it's really good if they start messing with your stuff and they get rid of anything. You can kind of jump back into your chain right after that happens. If it's on your turn, if it's on your opponent's turn, you still use the ability, and then on your turn, you can continue the swap package and everything that we do. And I'll show you exactly what we play. So it's really strong. It kind of keeps everything going, and it's really like rushy, and it removes a lot of, it denies your opponent hand size, and it also takes cards away from them. So I'll show you what it does. So the first card we're going to play, it actually got an errata, but this is the card that you're going to grab with the leader ability if you don't have it in hand, and it's always going to be your turn 1. The errata on here is before you could play it any time. Now you have to have no battle cards on the battlefield when you play this card. So you just play it turn 1 before you play anything else, and then you're good to go. So what this card does here, it's Planet Vampa. It's a field card, active main once per turn. If your leader card is a red Broly BR, and you add 1 card from your life to your hand, look at the top 7 cards of the top of your deck, play up to 1 red Broly BR, Paragus BR, Ba BR, or Golemite BR card with energy, with power 5,000 or less among them, and then you shuffle your deck. And then you choose 1 card in your hand and you discard it. So this is just to get the ball rolling. So we play 2 of these because we only need to see it turn 1, and it's searchable with the leader. I've never had a real problem finding it with 2 in here, so it's not that big of an issue. So this is your turn 1 always in this deck. You play it, and then some of the cards we play, we'll start with the Paraguses. So we run 3 Paragus, Oath of Vengeance. So this card here, it's got unique, so you're going to have 1 in the battlefield at a time. And it also has Overlord once per turn. So what Overlord is if you can bottom deck a card with Servant and then draw a card. So this card allows you to do it. if it's out. It's also got an auto. When this card is played, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then you could add up to 1 Broly BR card or 1 red Unison card, which would specify a cost of 1 among them, and add them to your hand from your deck. So, and then you shuffle your deck. So this is going to act for as a searcher. If we're missing any pieces to our chain, we can play this to try to find them. Also, if we want our Unison that we're going to run in this deck, this will find it for us also. I'll show you what we run. So that's a target for Planet Vampa. Another target we have here is the Ba. So Ba, Broly's first friend. So it's a blocker, and when this card is played, you add up to 1 mono red Broly BR card with energy cost of 5 or less from your deck to your hand, and then you shuffle your deck. So it acts as another searcher, but it's also a little bit of protection because it has blocker also. There's also a way we cheat this out. I'll show you exactly how we do it. Some of the Brolys we run that are searchable with Planet Vampa. So the first ones we play are the uncommon Broly Saiyan Youth. So this one here has swap 3. So after this card's played, you can swap this card out for free because it has no cost here for a 3-drop Broly BR. And I'll show you which one we do after. It's got a permanent here is if you have a red Broly BR card in play, this card gets 1100 power. So it turns into a 15k attacker if you have another Broly BR out. So I'll show you how that happens. When this card is played, you cannot play copies of this card for the turn. So this card gets played. You could play it for 1. It'll come to your hand with this ability, so you could search it out with this, no problem. And when you get it, it's a good way to start your engine. Another Broly 1-drop that we run is actually the TP pack Broly Astonishing Potential. This got reprinted in the Mythic Booster, I believe, and it is much appreciated because this thing was going for $200 when it first came out, and it was expensive until the hype of the deck kind of fizzled down a little bit. But it's a really good card. You need it for this deck to be really powerful and competitive, and I'll show you exactly what it does. It's got swap 3, just like the other Broly. Now I'll get to the non-foiled one. So if your leader is a red Broly card, so okay, it's got an auto. When this card is played, you can play. You can't play copies of this card for the turn, so you can only play it once per turn. Place 1 card from your life into the drop area. When this card is played, add up to 1 red. Play up to 1 red Ba BR card from your deck, and then shuffle your deck. Now, this allows us to be really strong, get all our pieces, and then be defensive. Really, really good card here. So you'll play it. It'll have swap 3. And when you play it, you can grab this Ba right from your deck. And then it gets played right on the battlefield. And then you can search for more of your engine to get the ball rolling. But also, it's a blocker for defense. So it's really, really strong. And that's the 1-drop Brolys. So some more Brolys that we run. Like I said, those cards have swap 3. So the next Brolys that we run are the Broly Bonafide Saiyan here. So this is a uncommon from the set that goes with this whole chain. It has swap 4 for 1 red energy, and you swap into a mono red Broly with energy cost of 4 after this one. It has Servant. So if they have Servant, also when they attack, they get plus 10k for the turn, but they cannot untap. So this thing will be tapped after you swing with it and won't be able to untap. But when this card is played, you can choose up to 1 red Paragus BR with energy cost of 1 in your hand, and you can play it. So what you do is you play one of these guys for 1. The Ba will come out. You could search something out. Maybe you need one of these in your hand. You can grab it, or a 5-drop. And then you swap this back to your hand with this card here for free. So now you have a 19k attacker on the board. But when you play this, if you have one of these Paragus 1-drops in your hand, you could play this for free. So then that gets played. And then when that gets played, this is helps you search the top 5 cards of your deck for a Broly card. So it's everything that you're playing is helping you search out your other pieces to this crazy puzzle. But once you have the right ratio of everything and you learn how to play the deck, it'll all come to you and you'll have everything in your hand to do the whole chain every time. So it'll be very, very, what's the word I want? Competitive, but also consistent. All right, so this one goes here. All right, so those are the 3 drops, really strong because it can play the Paragus to help you search out more. And then one of the cards we search out is the Broly Power of the Great Ape here. It's our 4 drop. So this one's good too because this is the one that you're going to play most of the time if something happens to your battle cards, because you can play a 4 or less, and this is one of the better ones to play if that happens. So it's got swap 5 for 1 energy. You can swap it with a 5 drop mono red Broly BR. It also has Servant, so if you need to draw some cards, you can use the Paragus that's out to use Overlord to draw another card to put at the bottom of your deck. But also when it attacks, it gets another 10k, so it'll be a 20k attacker. If your leader is red, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your red Unison cards, add a marker to it, and then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand and sends it to their warp. At the end of your opponent's next turn, they get the cards back to their hand from their warp. So this is a really crazy ability. Red doesn't usually have any kind of hand control. So this deck, while you're playing the deck and going in hard with all these cards and these combos, you're actually taking away cards from their hand, but they will receive them back at the end of their next turn, which is crazy, and it does enfeeble them in what they want to do because they could have needed the card or something like that. So it's also denying them combo power when you're going and swinging with these big guys. Like this guy's going to be a 20k, and he came out for about 1 energy because you swap for free, use this, put this out. They're losing cards. Usually around this turn you awaken, so it gets pretty crazy. So that's the 4 drop we run. We run 4 of these. All of these, this whole chain, we run 4 of everything just for consistency. We run 3 of the uncommon 1 drops because this is enough because we need to fit a few more things for tech in here. So the next Broly we run is the 5 drop. So SS Broly Combat Evolution. So this guy here is a 30k. He's got critical. Remember, if any of these Brolys are on the board too, your leader's going to have critical also. So it's really good. It's got swap 6 for 1 energy. And your opponent has to have 3 or more energy for this to happen, just because the next Broly that comes out, the 6 drop, is super powerful. So it's got an auto here also. If your leader is red, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your opponent's red. Choose 1 of your Unison cards and add a marker to it. Then your opponent chooses 1 card in their hand, and they send it to their warp, and they get it back at the end of their next turn. So also really good. And that's the 5 drop. So this is all leading to the 6, obviously. Now, depending on what turn you are, turn 3 or turn 2, you could be doing this all in 1 turn. You could be playing this on turn 2 for 2 energy. You could play this, or on turn 1 this got played, and then this got played. On turn 2, then you have 1 energy, 2 energy, and then this guy's out on your 5. So then on turn 3 or on this turn, you would try to defend, and then you would play on top of that 5 drop, you would swap out for this 6 here, which is the SS Broly Unlimited Power. So this one has unique. We run 4 for consistency because we definitely want to see it, and this one, out of all the other ones, is the least searchable, because everything else does 5 or 4 or less for the searching, most of it. So this here, it's got a critical double strike 35k, so it's a beast. Auto, if your leader card is red, when this card is played, choose up to 1 of your red Unison cards, add up to 2 markers to it, then choose up to 3 cards in your opponent's hand and send them to their warp. And at the end of your opponent's next turn, they add the cards sent to the warp by this skill back to their hand, just like the other cards. So really good. It takes 3 cards out of their hand. It's a 35k critical double strike, but it's also adding more counters onto the Unison that we run. So I'll show you which one we run. Now, this is great to go for game right here. Like that usually can do it for you, but like obviously you run into problems. They're going to play against your deck So you're going to need to like counter react. You're going to have to defend sometimes. They might mess up your turn. So the next turn you have to go in hard. So we also run this Unison here. It's Piccolo Junior Giant Force. So this guy for the deck is really, really strong and crazy. I prefer this over the Kale Unison that's usually ran with this deck because of what it does, and I'll show you exactly. So when your opponent adds a card from their life to their hand or drop area, add a marker to this card. So once per turn, if you do damage to your opponent and their life gets critical to their drop area or it gets to their hand, it adds a marker to this card automatically. So that's good. Just an uptick real quick. It's only one energy to play this guy because you're very stringent with your energy. So you got to be real careful. It's +1 as an active main. You can choose up to one of your opponent's battle cards, and it gets minus 5,000 power for the turn. So if they have anything pesky, maybe something that makes a mechanic in their deck, a battle card that makes their deck run, you could pop it. So it's really good. A little bit of removal or something to lower the energy of something, maybe if you need to attack into it. But we mostly play it for the -6. Like I was saying, you saw all these cards here. When they come out, they remove cards from your opponent's hands for until the end of their next turn, but they also add markers to the Unison. So this card here is just going to be getting it's going to be accumulating just a bunch of markers just while you do your chain. So by the time you play this giant 6-drop, it should have 6 or 7 markers on it, no problem, usually. And you can use its -6, which is active main. If your leader card is red, choose up to 2 mono red battle cards with different card names with 1900 power or less in your deck or hand, and you can play them, and then you can shuffle your deck if you look through it. So if you went through your chain, it's going to have enough markers, and when you do the -6, we play certain cards. Now, you can play this 3-drop if you want to get your chain going again. Maybe you have some extra energy open because it's turn 3 or 4, and you can go into some another 4-drop again and take even more cards out of their hand before you attack. You could play this card. This is one of them. Anything 3 or under, so you can play any of these, but we play some other cards I'll show you now for that ability. Also, another card we run because the Unison, it works well with the Unison. So the first one that we run, it's a one of, actually. It's Kaba Surging Forward. So this is an odd choice for some people, but the dual attack 19k, so it's perfect. It's able to get played. Is all it is. So it's a dual attack 19k, but it works in tandem with this card here, which is Fearless Pan. We run 2 of these just in case one's in our energy, in our life, and we want to play it. So what Fearless Pan does, it's an older card. It's a blocker. It has blocker. It has barrier. When you play this card, you can choose all other red leader and battle cards, and they all gain plus 5,000 power and double strike for the duration of the turn. So what happens is whatever you have out, this guy will already have double strike, obviously. But if you have like maybe your leader's going to get double strike, or if you have anything like this, another 3-drop out because you went into your chain again or something, because you'll be able to, with this guy, the -6, you'll be able to play 2 battle cards with 3 energy and 19k or less. You play the Kaba, and then you play the Pan, and then everything on the board, including the Kaba, will get double strike and 5k for the turn. So this is going to be a 24k dual attack double strike. So it's just a little combo that's really good here. So you could choose any other kind of red card that you like. I just like to go in as hard as I can at the end, very aggressively, and try to take them out. So that's one of the combos that I use and I love very much. I think it's very strong and it works. Takes them out almost every time. And never mind if you have the overwhelm, I'll show you in a sec. It's enough to finish him off, you know. Another 3-drop we play, it got errated down to 1. King Piccolo, the new ruler. So if you maybe one of these is stuck in your energy or something and you need another option, this guy's really good. He's double strike, and he's got a permanent here. If your leader card is red, this card gets 5,000 power, and your opponent can't activate blocker skills in response to this card's attack. So it gets around blockers. Active main, if you have a red Unison card out in play with 3 or more markers on it, you can play this card for free from your hand. And then at the end of your turn, you can send this to your warp. So it's a free play if you have a Unison with 3 or more markers out, which you will. You can play it at any time for free if you get it in your hand. But like I said, if you don't have it, any of these other cards in your hand, you can still play it with this guy for free with this -6 ability. Just another option in case something's clogged up. But most of the time, the Pan and the Kaba usually will always happen every time. So some more cards we run is our super combos. So right here is the Raditz Saiyan Youth. It's the best one for this build, I believe. If you get clogged up and you need something in your deck like your Ba, you need back in your deck for something to happen for you to get it again or something if you play another one of these. It's really good. But what you do is you put a card from your hand at the bottom of the deck and then you can draw 2 cards. Super combo. Your life has to be 4 or less. So really good super combo there. We use them for defense. We can go in a little hard with them. Speaking of defense, I run 2 testing the opposition. Free negates are good because you lose a lot of your energy when you're being aggressive. So you free plays are really good. So if your life is at 5 or less, you can take a life, you can negate the attack, and then play a blocker. And then you could potentially block 2 attacks. So it's really good. Since our leader gets 1 drop extra cards, we run Violent Raise as our floodgate. So if you don't know what it does, you negate the attack, you play this card, you discard a card, and then you can choose you could choose one of these 2 options. And one of them is your opponent can't attack with battle cards 20k power or more for the turn, or your opponent can't attack with Unison's 20 power or more. So it acts as a little bit of a floodgate if they're coming at you with big numbers. Also, it can stop a Unison attack, and it negates the attack right off the bat. So it's really good. It acts as a little bit of a floodgate. Topos and everything are a little bit too much energy. You can really only spare 1 energy at a time most of the time. So you want as many free plays as possible. Another card that we can grab if we're in a pickle, I run one of these. So it's Realm of the Gods, Ultra Instinct. It's from the newer set. So active battle, if your leader card and energy are all red, choose up to 1 of your cards and it gets plus 10,000 power for the battle. Then you could choose one of these options. If it's your turn, you could choose up to 1 of your opponent's battle cards with energy cost greater than their energy, and it gets minus 30,000 power for the turn. If it's your opponent's turn, you could choose you could draw 1 card and then choose up to 1 of your cards, and it gets plus 5k for the end of the battle. So it's mostly I use it if there's a big battle card on the battlefield that they're coming at me with, or Sen Shenron has the blocker out. This card, I can just get rid of it really, really fast for 1 energy. So it's good. It's really good. It's an active battle also, and I can be aggressive with it. So Sen Shenron does give you a problem. I have more of these in the sideboard too. So playing this is really well. I also use the Demigra, the old Demigra card. When you combo with it, you can kill something ignoring barrier, 30k or more or something like that. But that's in the side also, just for the Sen Shenron matchups. All right, so our one-ofs, we have one of these 2. This is, Ultimate Squad. The pre-release was the other day, so the errata has taken place. You can't run our buddy Bardock anymore, so this is the next best one, I believe. Overrealm 6, critical double strike 20k for free. So it's just another way to go in a little bit deeper when you're going in for game. So it's really strong. And then our secret rare, boom, SS4 Broly, the Great Destroyer. So if you don't know what he does, he's an ultimate. He's got barrier. He's got double strike. Active main, choose up to 1 mono red Saiyan card with original power of 35 power in your battle area and place it in its owner's drop area. Play this card from your hand, then choose up to one of your mono red leader cards, and it gets plus 10,000 power until the start of your next turn. It also has a permanent. All cards in your opponent's leader area, battle area, and combo area get minus 5,000 power, 5,000 combo power for the turn. So anytime they try to combo with anything, it's going to get minus 5,000 when they try to combo. So this goes through last attack. If they don't have a negate, there's no way they can combo out of it. It's huge. It's crazy. It comes out. It gets played for free. All you do is after you attack with this guy, and they think it's all over, you can just put this in your drop area and then play him. Boom, going for game. But that's the deck profile, guys. Thanks for joining me. I'm DBS TCG Central. Check out my Facebook, my Instagram. I also have an eBay if anybody is looking for some collectible cards. I have some play mats, sleeves, a little bit of everything on there. So if you guys want to check it out, feel free. It really helps me out. And like, subscribe, and comment. I appreciate you guys coming for another one, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.